After the underwhelming previous season of Strange New Worlds, and with the knowledge that we only have 2 seasons left, there is a lot riding on the opener of Season 4. So, does it deliver? The answer is yes. Because this episode works on 2 levels for me. It has the great visuals and set pieces, of course, but most importantly, an impossible moral choice. In this video, I'm breaking down what happens in Valles Marineris, what worked, what didn't, and what I hope to see this season. The main thread for this episode sees the Enterprise pulled back through time 65 million years, more on that later, during a routine survey of a solar storm. It's a storm very similar to one Pelia has seen before, though last time it involved a blue phone box. The ship ends up in the Sol system, disabled except for life support, and a nearby M-class planet as the only place that they can find iridium to help restart their engines. So, while Una, La'an, and Ortegas go on a trip to the planet, the Enterprise is attacked by another vessel, claiming the ship as salvage for their war against another species. After some awkward attempts to stall for time by Pike, which does feel a little out of character, especially for the captain of the Enterprise, he ends up inviting the commander of the other ship on board. It turns out the commander is a Martian, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to defeat the Doldrum who have attacked her world. The Martian commander, Castle, is curious about the Enterprise and its weaponry, but is also convinced to look around the ship, starting with sickbay. Played by Saffron Burrows, she does a fantastic job of playing this war-focused commander who will do anything for her people. But after interacting with Pike and his crew, allows her stance to soften, and she's almost convinced by compassion, not force, that there is a better way forward. However, it is the betrayal of Pike by omitting that he is from the future, a fact that he hid due to Starfleet regulations, that leads to Castle stealing an antimatter pod to destroy the Doldrum home world. And this is the moment that leads to a conundrum where Pike is forced to choose between saving an entire planet or sacrificing it, all based on a hunch. But before we get into that though, let's talk about the away mission. I love Star Trek, and I love Jurassic Park, so in theory, this is the perfect amalgamation for me, and honestly, this section mostly works. It turns out that the M-class planet that Una, La'an, and Ortegas visit is Earth, and being 65 million years in the past, they come across dinosaurs. Between them and the Iridium is a T-Rex, and this leads to a fun sequence where Una leads the charge to stun the dino, but not kill it. And not only is this fun, but it's a real moment for Una to shine, showing her leadership capabilities, which is why her promotion to commander at the end of the episode is so much more satisfying. It also turns out that the Iridium is from a crashed ship that was attacked. This leads to a moment where Ortegas expresses sympathy for the beings who died in cryostasis aboard the ship. And while it is a nice sentiment, because it happens during the completely separate away mission, away from the main story on the Enterprise, kind of feels a little out of place. Oh, and La'an, she punches a raptor in the face, because why not? As I mentioned earlier, the last season of Strange New Worlds felt a bit flat, and personally, I really wanted to see something different this season. Mostly, I just wanted this to feel like Star Trek again. And this season opener does it, and does it quite well. We have a time travel episode, which makes the Doctor Who reference even more apt, which puts the crew in a situation where they have to think about everything they do so that they can preserve the timeline. In many traditional Star Trek time travel episodes, the aim is to interact with the past as little as possible, as there is no way of knowing how the smallest change can affect the future. Think Deep Space Nine episode Past Tense, where causing the accidental death of the historical figure Gabriel Bell meant that Sisko had to step in and pretend to be Bell in order to preserve the future. Less than ideal. In this episode, Pike is presented with an almost impossible choice. Do something and save billions, do nothing and save trillions, and future history. This is a perfect paradox that flies in the face of the Starfleet mission to help others, but also that Pike cannot interfere. In the end, he makes the call to allow a planet to be destroyed, killing billions, based on the fact that in their future, the Doldrum homeworld, the fifth planet in the Sol system, doesn't exist. The choice he has made is an impossible one, but one that only he can make. As Mbenga says to him, he has spent more time thinking about the past and the future than anyone else. And it's this realization that Pike needs to live in the now leads him to turning down the promotion offered by April. And this is a story that really fits in with a lot of older Star Trek. Trying to find a non-violent way to resolve an issue, then having to make a choice in what is a no-win scenario. My main gripe for this episode would be the overuse of humor throughout it. I mean, I love that after 3 seasons, this crew is close. However, it feels at times that the humor is forced. It also feels like they set something up for a joke that later doesn't have the most satisfying punchline. And I think this is a result of the Marvelization of a lot of writing these days. In franchises such as Marvel, DC, Star Trek, Star Wars, it's almost like writers have a quip quota that they need to use in every episode. But tell you what, let me know in the comments, do you think Star Trek is suffering from Marvel-style writing, or do you enjoy this extra comedy? Additionally, I wasn't a huge fan of the predestination paradox that the Enterprise crew were in. I mean, it was fun. They created the storm in the past. They responded to their own rescue buoy, and it was their actions that led to the fate of Mars and the fate of the dinosaurs. But by making them the central point, it's like they are now responsible for humanity, and they're on this pedestal. They're the ones who can do all of this. But I think actually my main gripe really was that it was kind of predictable from the start what was happening. Hey, so future Rik here, different t-shirt, brighter daytime, glasses, all that type of stuff. I just want to explain that a little bit more because I don't think I went into it as much depth as I meant. When I say I wasn't a big fan of the paradox, I loved the whole time travel thing. I think it was actually brilliantly done. And I thought it was a lot of fun sort of playing around that sort of big stakes of choosing to kill a planet of people to save the future. But what I really didn't like was that the end result was another example of this era of Star Trek becoming the saviors of the galaxy, in this case, the saviors of humanity. If it hadn't been for Pike's actions in this sequence, his choice, then humanity might not have existed. So I think that's what kind of annoys me, is not so much what was the story and what was done, more that, again, it was that big example of taking it to the extreme level. That being said, I really enjoyed this episode. It was great seeing the crew back together again, and in comparison to last season, this feels like a real improvement. All the characters have their moments to shine, from Una stunning a dinosaur through to Uhura failing to connect to the new crew member from Starfleet Academy. However, it is the story that feels like a return to what makes Star Trek Star Trek. The journey into the unknown, meeting a new species, using words rather than actions to try and make your point, using empathy to find common ground. However, more than that, it's about being able to make the difficult, if not impossible, choice based on the information that you have. I really look forward to the rest of this season. We have a crew that are now well bedded in and have a good level of camaraderie and trust. However, we also have the beginnings of a mystery of La'an talking to Mbenga and Chapel about changes she has felt in herself, but also her concerns about her family's past, and what that could mean to her. So there you have it, my thoughts and review of the Strange New World Season 4 opener, Valles Marineris. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Star Trek chat. I am close to 2,000 subscribers, and I'd love to have you on board. Thanks for watching.